Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be one of the most practical, useful, and eye-opening lessons I've ever shared. If you've ever thought that learning English requires expensive classes, thick grammar books, or living abroad, I have good news for you. Because I didn't learn English in a classroom. I didn't move to an English-speaking country. I didn't spend thousands of dollars on courses. What I did was much simpler and something you can do too. I turned my phone into my teacher. That's right. The same device most of us use to scroll through social media, play games, or watch random videos can actually become your most powerful English learning tool. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Step by step, I'll share the apps I used, the daily routines I followed, and the creative tricks that helped me transform my smartphone into a full-time English tutor that was available anytime, anywhere. If you stay with me until the end, you'll walk away with a clear strategy you can start using today to practice English naturally, effectively, and consistently using nothing more than your phone. So, let's get started. Section 1. The realization that changed everything. A few years ago, my English level was very basic. I knew a handful of words, I could introduce myself, and I could maybe understand a slow conversation. But whenever I faced real English, like movies, podcasts, or fast speakers, I felt completely lost. I didn't have the money to join a private English academy. I didn't have the time to sit in traditional classes after work. But one thing I did have was a phone. Something I carried everywhere. One day, while wasting time scrolling, I realized my phone could be more than entertainment, could be my teacher. Unlike a class, it was always with me. Unlike a book, it could speak to me. Unlike a course, it could connect me with people around the world. That realization changed everything. From that moment, I decided, if my phone is in my pocket all day, then so is my English teacher. Section 2. Creating a digital English environment. The first step I took was changing the environment on my phone. I went into my settings and switched the entire phone language to English. Suddenly, every button, notification, and menu was in English. First, it was confusing. I didn't know what storage, settings, or airplane mode meant. But because I saw those words every day, they quickly became part of my vocabulary. I also changed the language on all my apps: Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook. Now, every time I scrolled, I was forced to see English. This may sound like a small step, but it was powerful. It meant that every single time I picked up my phone, I was training. English stopped being a subject I studied and started being the language I lived in. Section 3. YouTube, my free classroom. One of the first apps I turned into a teacher was YouTube. Instead of watching random videos in my native language, I began searching for English learning content. There were thousands of free lessons, grammar tips, pronunciation guides, conversation practice. I followed several English teachers and made their videos part of my daily routine. But here's the secret. I didn't only watch English lessons. I also watched content I genuinely enjoyed, but in English. Cooking tutorials, travel vlogs, technology reviews, anything that interested me. Because when you enjoy what you're watching, you learn without feeling like you're studying. I also discovered the power of shadowing. I would play a video, pause after each sentence, and repeat out loud, copying the speaker's pronunciation and rhythm. This practice alone made me sound more natural and confident. So, YouTube wasn't just entertainment anymore, it was my classroom. Section 4. Podcasts and audio, turning commutes into lessons. The next step was audio learning. I realized I could turn every commute, every walk, and every boring wait in line into an English lesson with podcasts and audiobooks. I downloaded free podcasts designed for English learners. At first, I barely understood them. The speakers seemed too fast and I caught only a few words. But I didn't give up. I kept listening every day, even if it was just background noise. Over time, something amazing happened. Words that once sounded like noise started to become clear. Sentences began to make sense. My listening improved naturally. I also used audiobooks, often choosing stories I already knew in my own language. That way, even if I missed words, I could follow the plot. Listening daily trained my ears in a way that no textbook ever could. Section 5. Vocabulary apps. Making learning a game. Of course, learning vocabulary was important too. Instead of memorizing long lists from a book, I used apps like Anki or Quizlet. These apps used spaced repetition, which means they showed me words again and again at the perfect time so I wouldn't forget. I set a daily goal of 10 minutes. Whenever I had a free moment, on the bus, waiting for food, before bed, I opened the app. Because it felt like a game, I stayed consistent. But I didn't just memorize words in isolation. I made sure to learn phrases and example sentences. For example, instead of just learning opportunity, I learned a great opportunity or an opportunity to learn. That way, I knew how to use the word in real life. Section 6. Speaking practice with language exchange apps. Now, listening and vocabulary are important, but speaking is where most learners struggle. This is where my phone truly became a teacher. I discovered apps like HelloTalk and Tandem, where I could connect with people around the world who wanted to practice languages. I started chatting with them in English. At first, it was only text messages. Then, little by little, I began sending voice notes. Eventually, I had real conversations on audio calls. Was I nervous? Absolutely. I made mistakes. I forgot words. I felt embarrassed. But here's the thing. Every mistake taught me something. And the more I spoke, the less afraid I became. These conversations gave me something no textbook could. Real practice with real people. Section 7. Social media. Turning distractions into lessons. Social media is often a distraction, but I turned it into a tool. On Instagram, I followed English teachers, motivational accounts, and pages that shared daily tips. My feed was filled with English quotes and vocabulary. On Twitter, I followed native speakers and read their posts. Even short tweets helped me see how people used real, natural English. Even WhatsApp became a practice tool. I challenged my friends to chat with me in English instead of our native language. At first, we mixed languages, but over time, English became normal. So instead of wasting hours on social media, I used those same hours to surround myself with English. Section 8. Writing practice. The Notes app method. Another way I used my phone as a teacher was through writing. Every night before bed, I opened the Notes app and wrote a short journal in English. Sometimes it was just 3 or 4 sentences. Today I went to the market. I bought fruit. I was tired but happy. Over time, my sentences grew longer and more complex. I started using new vocabulary I had learned during the day. Sometimes I used Google Translate to check words, but I always tried to write first without help. This daily writing habit trained me to think in English and improved my grammar naturally. Section 9. Overcoming challenges. Of course, learning English with only a phone wasn't always easy. I faced challenges. One challenge was distractions. My phone had games, social media, and endless notifications. Sometimes I opened my phone to study and ended up wasting an hour. To fix this, I created a rule. Before I could use my phone for fun, I had to spend at least 20 minutes practicing English. Another challenge was motivation. Some days I felt tired and didn't want to practice, but I reminded myself, even 5 minutes counts. I didn't need to be perfect, I just needed to be consistent. The last challenge was self-doubt. Sometimes I thought, maybe I'll never be fluent, but then I remembered that fluency is not about being perfect. It's about communicating. And with every message, every video, every podcast, I was improving. Section 10. The results. So, what happened after months of learning English with only my phone? My listening improved dramatically. I could understand movies and podcasts that once felt impossible. My speaking confidence grew. I started conversations with strangers online, and eventually I even spoke with tourists in real life. My vocabulary expanded naturally. Words I had once memorized in apps started appearing in conversations and readings, and I used them without hesitation. Most importantly, I stopped being afraid of English. I realized that fluency is not a distant dream. It's something you can build step by step, with daily practice, even from your phone. Section 11. How you can turn your phone into a teacher. Now, I want to give you a simple action plan you can follow to start today. Change your phone language to English. Subscribe to English YouTube channels and practice shadowing. Listen to one podcast or audiobook clip daily. Use a vocabulary app for 10 minutes a day. Download a language exchange app and chat with someone at least once a week. Write in your notes app every night before bed. Fill your social media feeds with English content. Follow these steps consistently, and you'll see results faster than you expect. Conclusion. So there you have it. How I turned my phone into a teacher and used it to go from struggling with English to becoming fluent. The key wasn't magic. The key wasn't expensive courses. The key was using the device I already carried in my pocket every single day. And you can do the same. Start small. Change your phone language. Watch one English video. Write one sentence in your notes app. These small habits add up. Over weeks and months, they transform your phone into the best English teacher you could ask for. Available anytime, anywhere, for free. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like it to support the channel. And if you want more practical tips, routines, and strategies to improve your English naturally, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, your phone is already in your pocket, and so is your teacher. The question is, are you ready to start learning today?